Subsector will be imperative if meaningful and sustainable national development is envisaged. Agriculture contributes significantly to Nigeria's gross domestic product (GDP). It provides employment to a large proportion of citizenry and provides raw materials to some agro-allied industries, amongst other contributions. Various agricultural and rural development programs and policies have been developed and executed by successive administrations in Nigeria from early 60s to date. These are aimed at improving the level of agricultural production and ensure self-sufficiency in food production. One of such programs is the Anchor Borrower Scheme. Since its launch in 2015, how far so far? That's our focus today on Dateline 360. Thanks for joining us. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. The Anchor Borrowers Program, ABP, is intended to create a linkage between anchor companies involved in the process of selecting key agricultural commodities and smallholder farmers. The Akwa Ibom State Chapter of the Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria, RIFAN, organized a sensitization meeting for rice farmers in the state. This is to key into the federal government policy for increased yield. Evelyn Badu Ekpo has details.
Great farmers,
great nation.
No farmer,
no nation.
The Akwa Ibom State Chapter of the Rice Farmers Association drew rice farmers from across the 31 local government areas of the state, aimed at improving rice production to meet up to its consumption in the country. The meeting is also preparatory to the 2019 dry season planting, encouraging farmers to cash into the federal government policy on rice for a bumper yield.
For this year, we are marching for 150,000 farmers in Akwa Ibom State. It started in 2015. Other states have benefited, and Akwa Ibom was skiing in wet season. This dry season, he said that we should do 150,000.
Chairman of Akwa Ibom State Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria, Dr. Emmanuel Bassi, says rice production through the Anchor Borrowers Program will give farmers access to benefit from inputs from the federal government to earn a better living. He encouraged rice farmers to be determined to produce rice in quantities that will inhibit its importation into the country.
Great farmers,
great nation.
No farmer,
no nation.
No rice,
no celebration.
CBN Unity Bank Anchor Borrowers Program, there is no money attached. This program has put food on the table of many households and removed many families from the poverty. It is a loan. You must be present and you must pay back the loan. But the beauty of the loan is that it is something like a giveaway. There's no serious farmer that cannot pay that loan.
Other speakers at the event threw more light on processes for the rice farmers to be involved to be part of the program.
For this implementation, what is demanded, what I should do, what you should do, the farmers, is to develop interest, passion. You cannot just go for mapping of land. You cannot just go for capturing without passion. If you want to carry out this project because you have seen Mr. A or B doing, then you cannot succeed because of the challenges that you will face. One of the challenges is what? The clearing of land. That is why I challenge every one of us that if I want to be a farmer, I should develop what? Passion. That passion should be there for me to be able to carry out this project.
As a rice farmer, there must be an existing land. The farmer will clear his or her land. Once your name is captured, you'll be given a card where there is a machine that the service provider will bring and will capture your information that you have given to us when we were doing the manual capturing. It's very simple. like as the moderator has said, the mechanics of English. I will break it down and you will understand how this refund ABP work.
The Central Bank of Nigeria ABP program has seen over 44 billion naira investment that empowered over 200,000 farmers across 29 states. In Zamfara State, more than 40,000 farmers have benefited from the ABP. The state chairman of the Rice Farmers Association, Ishaq Ajia Anka, stated this at a town hall meeting in Gusau. Jamilu Ibrahim has more.
More than 45,000 farmers are currently benefiting from the federal government Anko Baruwas program in Zamfara State. The program, which is aimed at creating a linkage between Anko companies involved in the processing and the smallholder farmers, mainly targeted rice farmers from across the 14 local government areas of the state. 555,000 hectares are being cultivated by the farmers for dry and wet season farming, which produce about 2.8 million metric tons of rice annually, thereby tremendously improving the production of the commodity and the value chain. Apart from assisting farmers to grow from subsistence to commercial production levels, the Anko Baruwas program in Zamfara State has also created new generation of farmers and entrepreneurs, which has gone a long way in reducing poverty and creating more employment, especially amongst the rural populace. It has changed our lives. You can see a farmer who cannot process a house, who cannot even go to Mecca, has paid for Mecca at least 2 times. He has a house and more wives, and can now have a director for himself and other mechanizations. We are thinking of initiating mills in all the local government headquarters to have one, so that all our farmers in that local clusters will come there and mill the rice and then sell. Gladdened by the monumental impact the program has so far made on their lives and the socio-economic fortunes of the state as a whole, members of the Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria Zamfara State chapter recently held a town hall meeting in Gusau, where they expressed appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari for the wonderful initiative. Buhari has done well to us. Rice farmers cannot forget him for life. He made us what we are now. Before, we are nothing, but now even international donors are coming to, international communities are coming to join to partner us for production of rice in the country. We don't import rice now, and we had enough rice.
The focus of ABP is to provide seeds to farmers and cash to grow the crops. Key players in agricultural revitalization under the Anko Baruwas program ABP have described as successful the recovery of farm produce by Northeast Commodity Associations. Yusuf Jika reports that this came to the fore at the official handover of 40,100 kg bags of assorted grains by the Commodity Association in Adamawa State to Commodity Depot and Exchange Center Office.
Over 5,000 Adamawa State farmers have benefited from surplus, provision of improved seeds, fertilizer, among other requirements needed by Northeast Commodity Associations under the Anko Baruwas scheme of the federal government. Just a few months after, the association yielded achievements as over 40,000 bags of assorted grains recovered from farmers, amounting to 40% recovery. This, according to National Chairman NECAS, Sadiq Dawari, is an indication that signals excellent outcome for further farming season, as well as providing opportunities to internally displaced persons to gain a living.
We have clearly demonstrated today that we will definitely pay this 40%, so that at least Central Bank will continue giving us this money and will continue advancing to our farmers, so that this program can be sustained.
Representatives of Central Bank of Nigeria and Bank of Agriculture lauded the performance of NECAS in the quest of revitalizing agriculture for food sufficiency and security, and promised to increase funding and intervention to the association. Deputy Governor Martins Babale of Adamawa State on the event promised state government's unflinching support to agriculture for the overall interest of humanity.
That so long as they are repaying, that will continue to encourage them.
They are the first of such commodity associations that have come up because we funded so many.
Also speaking on preparation for dry season and poultry farming, the chairman of the association, Abubakar Sadiq Dawari, said arrangements have been concluded for a successful dry season farming activities. He said distribution of farming inputs and implements will commence before the end of this February so as to give farmers enough time for planning.
The Northeast Commodity Association was carefully established to support farmers in the Northeast, particularly the smallholder farmers. Northeast has comparative advantage of producing almost all cash and food crops. Secondly, the Central Bank has graciously approved that the Northeast Commodity Association can be key into federal government and Anko-Boro's program. Third, we have participated during the wet season, and is no longer a news that it is the first and the only commodity association in Nigeria that have followed the guidelines of Central Bank of Nigeria by paying back 40% after the first farming cycle. And we are now ready to key into dry season farming. We have mobilized farmers, we have sensitized them, we have trained them on best farming practice. We have also engaged the service provider that have taken their information and mapped their farms. So by next week, we will start input distribution for the dry season, and we are set to go. And I'm happy to tell our stakeholders that the Northeast Commodity Association is keen into dry season with 80,000 farmers across the Northeast. That is the first in the history of Anko-Boro's program in Nigeria.
For dairy and poultry farming, Dawari said interested farmers should register with the association to access a loan from the central bank.
Also happy to announce to our people that whoever that have interest in either bull fattening or a dairy production, the Central Bank of Nigeria already have a window that we can support. We in the northeast part of this country, particularly Nekas, our approach in implementing the Anko-Boro's program is multidimensional in nature. We support farmers for the primary production. We also support IDPs in aggregation of our produce. If you go to our centers, you see large number of young men, women that we engage from IDP camps to come and earn a living. Most of them earn from 2,800, 3,000, 3,500 daily. So, as I've said earlier, our approach is multidimensional in nature. We are supporting the primary production. We also engage IDP so that they can earn a living out of our program.
The ABP is a CBN initiative to empower farmers in cooperative societies to get loans at single-digit interest rate from the Apex Bank to produce, package, refine, and market farm produce. After a successful 2018 farming season, farmers in Gombe State have remitted over 1.5 billion naira received as soft loans. This was announced at the flag-off of the loan scheme. Abdurrahman Aliyu reports.
21,515 farmers under the platform of Northeast Commodity Association NACOS, mainly affected by the insurgency in Adamawa, Bauchi, Gombe, Taraba, and Yobe states, cultivated 49,000 hectares of land from the 8.9 billion naira loan granted to NACOS by the Central Bank of Nigeria in 2018. The flagging of which was held at Gombe Commodity and Exchange Depot marks the first delivery of produce by farmers across the region under NACOS.
We thank Central Bank most sincerely for providing us with this loan, and we are giving you assurance that we will continue to get this loan from you and we will continue to pay back so that other farmers as well can get this loan.
The Central Bank of Nigeria reiterates its commitment towards supporting agricultural sector through Anko-Boro's, urging farmers to take advantage of the program.
We are going to triple the facility that will be made available to this people. The sky will be our limit, and the issue of hunger will be eliminated in this country.
Beneficiaries of the program applauded the federal government for initiating the program.
I have never seen the one that have come down to the grassroots. We are people of nobody. You don't have to lobby. You don't have to know anybody. You can just go and get it.
Liquid ureas. We have so many fungicides.
Rice farmers in Taraba State have taken a pragmatic approach to accelerate rice production during the dry season by purchasing farm inputs and supplying to smallholder farmers. Joseph Otsen reports that the State Rice Farmers Association procured the items through a loan facility from the CBN Anchor Borrowers Scheme.
The projection of bumper harvest in food crops, such as rice, within the last 3 years and a drastic reduction of import is an indication that Nigeria can reach sustainable rice production